G'day everyone, it's Fred here from Cleaning Garage. Well, welcome to our second episode of getting our XForce headers on and getting our Sparco interior sorted. Stick with us, we're going to get the car going today. Ran out of time last episode, but we've been doing a lot of stuff, learnt a lot of things too. Check these things out. Well, the first thing we discovered when we were fitting our cats and our headers is that they weren't just quite, mating up. And it turns out I did a bit of research and there is a code on these headers that ends with a letter, and that one's got an L on it. And on the cats as well, it's got a code on it that ends in an R. They're directional, left and right. We've got the wrong ones on the wrong side. So I've got to jack the car up, pull that other cat out, put it on this side. And meanwhile, I've been doing some other things to the back end of the exhaust. If you remember when we started the car up before we had the headers on it, far too quiet. And so I've done a bit of Fred engineering here. These rear muffler sections are off. And I had some straight throughs. And I've mocked these up. And you can see there, I've just loosely attached them there to the back of the XForce exhaust. That's a straight through. And that's going to give us a lot more sound, a lot more barkiness, hopefully, because there's still a centre pipe section in these XForce exhausts anyway. But just with these polished rear ends and the middle muffler, far too quiet. So we want it to sound like a bit of a serious motor, even though we're still, we're still working on things. The other things we need to do today, headers need to go on this side, on the passenger side. That'll be a lot easier than the driver's side. We've got to get the dipstick relocated. I'm going to get underneath. Frankie's going to feed it from the top. And then we're going to remount our steering rack. And then we could be ready to get the O2 sensors on, start this thing and go for a drive. Let you see how it sounds. The other interior model I've been doing is I've got rid of all the stuff on the floor pan, got it all out. I've got gloss white on there and a bunch of probably 10 or so coats of clear. Our gear stick knob is on, and I'm going to turn my attention to some Sparco pedals. All right, let's have a look at this little Sparco pedal kit here. So you get a brake, a clutch, and an accelerator pedal, and some instructions, some little M3 bolts, Allen key head, little nuts on them, some cushions, and I'm thinking we're going to use our little 3mm drill bit here. But what we're going to do is we're going to work out exactly where these pedals are going to go first. And you can you line them up here. Obviously you've got your bolt holes here, and that's going to miss the bottom one here, so we have to shift it up a little bit so it catches the bottom of the pedal, probably about there. So I'll mark these out with a magic marker. Drill the holes, poke a few little bolts through, and mount our pedals up. All right, Frankie's turned up. Check him out. He's wearing bananas and pajamas today, Frankie.
That's right.
Woohoo! All right, take us through what we've just done here, Frankie, with the dipstick. What did we do to get it in?
Well, we got some advice on our comments, so thanks very much. That was really helpful. We've shoved it in between the two middle extractor. He's there, and just behind the engine mount.
Yep.
And it's very tight in there, a bit of wiggling, and
yep.
Fred on the bottom doing some good guiding. We've got her in, so
yep.
Thank goodness for that. That was a bit of a struggle.
It was a struggle, and you could not do that by yourself. So as Frankie mentioned, you've got to get one bloke underneath, one bloke on top, and it's right near the starter motor, and you've got to get your finger in there and feel, and then Frankie did a bang-up job threading the needle, and I just poked it in the hole.
Yeah, that's right. Usually we get Diesel Dave to get underneath and do all the dirty work for us. He wasn't here today. It was pretty handy. Thanks for Diesel for looking after us before, but unfortunately Fred had to get under there and grovel around this time.
Exactly right. And thank you to the comments, because that would have taken us a few hours. So another YouTube commenter helped us out there, and now we're going to start swapping some cats over, Frankie, because I mentioned earlier that I swapped them around the wrong way. They're directional. Then we're going to start putting the headers on, mate our exhaust up, get the gaskets in, and start this snot box. Okay, so our driver's side headers are in. They're looking good. We're just about to do the passenger side. And we've reorientated that cat so it goes the right way. I'm about to go underneath and get it in. All right, well, we've got both sides on here. Have a go at those bad girls. It's nearly lunchtime. Frankie and I are starving. Time for some steak sambos. And then we will make the rest of the exhaust up, tighten everything up. Our O2 sensor on the passenger side is about 1 centimetre too short and it just won't connect. We're going to leave it open. It'll throw an error code. That's all right. O2 sensors on this side are connected. The other thing is it's got O2 sensors downstream in the exhaust as well. So, look, it might pop and fart and carry on, but we'll be all right. So we've just had some lunch. Got a bit more energy. Frankie is tightening up those header bolts on this side. And we're going to lower the car. And then I'm going to check these tail pipes and make sure that we're okay. Under there, it's mating up pretty well. Just got to make sure that they do tighten up before. The trick is get everything connected, finger tighten it up, and that way you've still got a bit of play and you're not fighting against the forces of nature. Righto, Frankie, where are we up to?
All right, Fred. Well, we've got the steering bolt back on. I've done all the difficult extractor bolts, and so they're back together. You've been crawling around on your back again and bolting that exhaust up. So
I have.
Looking like she might be ready to start.
Yeah. Look at these headers, just so beautiful. Let's go have a look at the back of the exhaust, because we've used our straight throughs, as I mentioned earlier, and getting wetter than here. And look at this, oh my God, straight through pipes, oh my God. It's going to sound good. Frankie and I are about to kick it in the guts. As I mentioned, that O2 sensor on the passenger side, about 1 centimetre too short, so we're probably expecting an engine light. But we're not bad with engine lights, are we, Frankie? We know how to clear them.
As long as she starts.
Yeah, as long as she starts. All right. Frankie is going to have the honours. We're going to get it off that jack, put it on the ground, and kick it in the guts, Barry. Moment of truth here at Clooney Garage. Will it start? Kick it in the guts, Barry. Sounds all right. Any engine light, Frankie? Yeah. That's all right. That's that O2 sensor. And it might be a bit fluffy down low and carry on and stuff with that O2 sensor, but we'll have a look. All right, Barry, give it a rev. Crackle and pop, Frankie. So Frankie, you've got the snot box started and it sounds a bit raucous. Now what are you doing?
I've got to get this hard cover on. So it goes on with these little
brackets
there.
Yeah.
So we're going to drill some holes and put some rivet nuts in there.
Oh yeah.
And then
these little guys?
Yeah, this goes through onto the hard lid.
Yep.
Should secure our hard lid on. And
do we have hydraulic struts or anything, or how does it move up and down?
Yeah, we're going to have to get ourselves on them, I think.
All righto. Yeah. Fred, always ask the cheeky question. Always a leading question as well, just to catch Frankie out. That's the hard lid there. So we got that from old mate. Looks like a beauty. It's black and it's going to match our Penrite wrap that we're going to do as well. And then we put a big Penrite sticker on the back of the ute. All right, our first little screws are in using an 8mm bit. It's probably a fraction too small. We're going to put the other 4 in and then put our little rivets in. Righto, so I've had to go up to a 9mm for these little pop rivets to go in. We'll put the brackets on, show you how they work. All right, Frankie's doing a bang up job here. Our little captives are in. And now we'll go onto the brackets. These guys have just got a little Allen key that goes on the outside of the bracket, holds it in place, and we'll be able to get our lid back on. All right, so our hard lid is on. Good job, Frankie. That was a bloody big effort, that was.
Heavy.
Heavy, yeah. We've got to get some hydraulic struts on it too. Those little captive hinges and nuts are on. We've now got ourselves a Penrite Racing hard lid when we don't get any wind drag racing. Now, Frankie and I are just going to do one more check on the driver's side for exhaust leaks and just make sure those cats are tightened up. Meow. And then we're going to go for a little drive. All right, we'll just tighten everything up. Frankie's going to kick it in the guts again. Make sure we don't have any leaks. Sounds a bit better. And before we saw a little bit of steam off those headers, but Fred's had, what do you reckon, Frankie? Is that better? I think, because I had sticky, bloody, greasy, thick juice bloody hands there before too, so what do you reckon? It doesn't sound as fluffy as it did before. Yeah, no, that's good. Let's go for a drive. All right, taking the stop box out, and it's backfiring and carrying on with that O2 sensor, but it sounds pretty good. I'll show you a little pull up here, and I'll do some outside footage as well. What do you reckon, Frankie? Do you reckon it sounds? All right, so we're just back from our shakedown pass, and it sounds a picture, and Frankie's getting it to backfire and carry on, and like a bloody sprint car at a trail, eh, Frankie? How are we looking? Nothing's falling off. Well, it's a start, isn't it? Well, she's hanging together. A few banging noises and a few cracks and pops, but that's what happens when you've got an O2 sensor hanging off. And yeah, oh, we're pretty happy with that. Backyard mechanics here today, here at Clooney Garage. Headers are on, OTR's on, no tune. What do you reckon, Frankie?
Oh, it's got to be 200 kilowatts every day.
200 kilowatts. Speaking of that, check this out. Here's our new tower of power, and we'll go through this tonight. And look at the bloody guesses here, and I'll tell you what, this bloke here he's really got my goat, this bloke here. But look at this. It's better than the Stig's bloody lap times on Top Gear. All good. All right, guys, well, we'll leave it there for today's episode. It's been getting a bit tired now, and the job's done. The exhaust is done, the headers are on, we've done the shakedown run. I'm going to go and tighten all the bolts and make sure we don't have any exhaust leaks. But we're pretty happy with how we went today. We'll probably now do the tune in about a week's time in Gentech, and then we'll bring to life our competition. And we've got, you know, many guesses here, ranging from 250 kilowatts all the way through to Harold up there at 300, which I think is a slightly ambitious guess, but good on him for having a go. As I mentioned before in other videos, this car's probably never had a tune. It's now got a bunch of mods done to it that's going to allow it to breathe better, getting more air in the car, getting more exhaust gases out of the car. That means we're going to put more fuel in, we're going to trim up all our tables, put a much better tune in it, see where we get to. We would be happy with 260, 270 kilowatts. But again, this motor's done 150,000 kilometers, so we've got to be realistic on that too. And we're super happy with the interior now. You know, we've got something that resembles a bit of a race car now. And Frankie and I, on that note, well, thank you for watching. We passed 250 subscribers today. Huge milestone for the channel. Thank you for everyone for watching. Much more to come. This bad girl's back. It's had a tune and a freshen up too. And we had some O2 sensor problems on that one. A couple of plugs that were a bit funny. Clooney feels a hell of a lot different now. We took it for a drive today. And we'll have more fun on that one coming up soon. Thanks for watching. Don't do it for Dale, do it for Brocky. Catch you later.